Hello, welcome back, and thank you as always for joining me. And more importantly, and this is something that is worth repeating, thank you for your dedication and commitment to your practice, which, as you may have heard, is the highest and best and most valuable offering you could make anyone, anywhere, anytime. All right. So let's take a look today at salvation. Yeah, let's talk about salvation. Is it misunderstood here in the world? Oh, yeah, yeah, most definitely, right? So it's a valuable subject for our discussion today. Now, in the text of A Course in Miracles, we've moved on to chapter 11, section 4, which is entitled The Inheritance of God's Son. And what we're going to do today is spend the entire time on paragraph 1, because there's plenty to go through and to talk about. In truth, you could say this about any paragraph of A Course in Miracles. In fact, every single sentence of this course contains the entirety of the whole thought system, which definitely is cool. You could pick the text of A Course in Miracles up and open it to a random page. And there, in the first sentence that your eyes alight on, will be the entirety of the thought system. And it is a thought system, by the way. If you're new to this, first of all, welcome. These videos are designed for all levels of experience, from none to 30 plus years. So wherever you happen to fall in that spectrum, there are plenty of people that are guided and called to check this out because people are curious about this course. So these videos are appropriate for every single level of exposure and experience to this material. Because what's going on is your inner teacher is speaking to you. That is the voice that you heard and listened to when you pushed play and this video began to play for you. It is. It's that voice that has you interested in your spiritual practice to begin with. So there's a message for you. I may have already said it, and I may be yet to say it. And if that's the case, I invite you to stick around. You will know when the message hits. It's your inner teacher speaking to you. What is your inner teacher? The Holy Spirit, which you're welcome to call by any other name. It actually makes no difference what you call it. It's an it. Your inner teacher is part of your mind. It's this part of our mind that speaks for God. So it's known as the voice for God, often here in A Course in Miracles. When something lands and connects for you, that's who's speaking to you. Consider this to be a pixelated image on your screen, because it is. That's what we're watching. How that all works, I have no idea, but I'm grateful that it does, because with this technology, we can reach each other all across the globe. So, what is salvation? Well, it's grossly misunderstood here in the world, and it's a concept that's bandied about. It's manipulated by groups of people. It's dangled over the heads of some people, and everywhere you look, if you really asked people what it is, if they were really being honest with you, they would have to say, most of them, I don't know. Well, let's talk about what it actually is and why that's important. The sonship is your salvation. Your brother is your salvation. The sonship is a term that refers to the creation of God. You and your brother. So, here in the world where we all appear to be individual, self sustaining survival units, we run around doing our thing. Here, where it appears that we're separate, let's emphasize appears that we're separate because in truth, we're not. The sonship is one. The Son of God, the creation of God, the thought of God, the extension of God. That's you. It's unified. It is one, which means your brother is you. I am you. You are me. We're not blood relatives. We're each other, one. We're not closely related with some little distinctions here and there. All those distinctions are illusion. We're one, one, one. There is no separation. So the sonship is yourself, capital S. It's the thought of God, the creation, the extension of God. You, capital S, self. It's why forgiveness, as it's taught and practiced here in the study of A Course in Miracles, is so important. It's vital. In fact, it's our function here on Spinning Ball of Rock. The sonship is salvation. So, how does this work? Well, we're shown here that yourself, capital S, who you really are, actually doesn't need salvation. But this is an important point because here in the world, common definitions, common conceptions, or shall we say misconceptions about salvation have us being saved from something, saved from a fiery hell or an icy hell or a hell where there's no Starbucks and you can't get your favorite cup of coffee, your double mocha latte with 3 pumps of almond and a dash of soy milk or something. Just throwing that out there as an example. Salvation is misunderstood here in the world. What's going on here is we're not being saved from anything. All separation is illusion. So we're perfectly at home in God. Our self, capital S, does not need salvation because it's home in God. A very well-known sentence from A Course in Miracles, in fact, one of the most oft-quoted ideas from this course is that ideas leave not their source. Ideas leave not their source. You are the thought of God. In other words, an idea. How often do you think of yourself as an idea? Oh, we're certainly not conditioned to think that we're an idea. We think we're this little contraption, this device, this constantly changing device that suffers aches and pains, feels really blissfully cool 1 minute, and hurts the next. Up, down, up, down, up, down, until it loses its vitality and craps out completely. That is not the Son of God. You are the thought of God, and ideas, you, leave not their source. Capital S. Where are you? Who are you? Oh, yeah. I know you know. You always have known. So let this idea permeate your mind. If you have had the inkling that you're one with God, you are. So, who we really are doesn't need to be saved from anything. We've never left our source. However, while we appear to be here in this illusion, this spinning ball of rock, 8 billion and counting of us running amok, consuming what we've deemed to be scarce and limited resources, that sort of thing. While we appear to be here, our mind needs to learn what salvation really is. So let's do just that. We're not being saved from anything. Rather, we're being saved for glory. Capital G here. We're being saved for who and what we really are. One way that is very, very helpful, you may find it very helpful to think of your spiritual practice as the lifting of a veil or the removal of a wall or a barrier, perhaps walking through a thick, dark, and black looking fog bank to the light on the other side. And when you walk through, you may get wet and feel a little bit cold, but you quickly realize that this imposing bank of fog was insubstantial, and you walk right through it as though it were never there. It was not. So, our spiritual practice, what we deem to be the process of awakening, is like walking through that fog bank. It's like lifting a veil. We're removing the obstacles to our awareness of love's presence, as the Course says. In other words, we're lifting the veil. We're removing the obstacles to our awareness of truth. We're lifting the veil. We're removing the obstacles to our awareness of who, what, and where we are. And your brother is right there with you because he is you. God is right there with you because we're one with him. Ideas leave not their source. And here's something: like extends like. Perfect love, i.e., God, extends only perfect love. Love is what you are. What God created, he shared and shares completely with you because there is no separation. Who, what, and where are you? Hint: this is not you. Which I know that you know, or you would not be watching this. You have heard the call of our inner teacher that says there's more to it than this. There's more to it than just showing up at our job and doing the same thing every day. Paycheck's nice and everything. Thanks. There's more to it than checking email. There's more to it than all of our travails and struggles here on this spinning ball of rock, which in truth is not our home. Certainly appears that way. It's not. And we know this. So, glory love of God, who we really are, is our inheritance, and we're invited to extend it. This course is about clarifying our perception, learning to see our brother as us, as one with us, learning to see that there is no separation of any kind, learning to perceive this. So it's known by many names here in the course, but it's learning to perceive truly, learning to see things as they really are, because we're not seeing them as they really are. We're not seeing them as they really are when we picture ourselves as individual self-sustaining survival units. What we deem to be the survival unit doesn't last. It doesn't survive. Please. It's finite. It's an illusion. The Son of God is not finite and is not an illusion. So while we appear to be here, we engage in a course of mind training, learning to perceive things, to see things as they really are. And that is 100% necessary that we do that. That is the condition for awakening. Because if we do not perceive things truly, in other words, if we keep little forms of judgment and blame for certain people or one particular person, and we completely forgive everyone else, but we still have this one little political party, for example, this one little boss or ex-boss or partner or ex-partner or mother-in-law or mother or anyone, could be anybody, right? If we keep some little pockets of judgment, blame, and hatred off to ourselves, that's not forgiveness. It's either total or it's not at all, because we are learning to perceive truly, and that is total. When we have clarified our perception, truth, God, who we really are, you, dawn of yourself. God, truth dawns of itself. God dawns of itself, of himself. He's always been there. It is the only reality. And we simply know this. And by knowledge of God, we mean experience, oneness. There is only perfect oneness. And we're learning that. However slowly it may appear, or however long it may appear to take. Let me simply comment that the function, the purpose of time is for us to awaken. That is the use to which we should put it. So if we hate a part of ourself, because your brother's part of you, the opposition political party, part of you, I know. Definitely part of you, and perhaps a giant forgiveness lesson, maybe? Could be, huh? If we hate a single part of ourselves, all understanding is lost, because it's not total forgiveness, it's not clarified perception. So there's no awakening. We can't see one part of ourself, capital S, as cut off and separate, and expect to know the whole. When we do that, we're looking at part of what God created as ourself without love. So we're looking at ourselves without love. This one may or may not be easier to understand, but an important thing here is that spiritual practice is all about our practical experience. These ideas in the course aim for us to do a perceptual 180. In other words, they completely reverse the thought system of the world. Completely. Which is deep down what we all want. That's why we're on the spiritual path. to begin with. So we're all invited to take that next step right now, today, and get in contact with your inner teacher and do as your inner teacher suggests that you do. Forgive the Son of God. Forgive yourself. It's the same thing. When you love your brother, you love yourself. There is no difference, only perfect oneness. When you lash out in hatred against your brother, even if you say nothing verbally, even in your mind, where all of this training occurs, when you lash out in hatred against your brother, you lash out in hatred against yourself. If you love your brother, you love yourself. If you hate your brother, you hate yourself. So on and so on. There is only perfect oneness. So we learn here to forgive truly. This is how we do it. And we do it under the guidance of our inner teacher, because salvation is not just doing one thing or saying a particular prayer or a particular line of something, or being performing a ceremony where we're saved, whatever that may look like, in various traditions where we're regarded as being saved from a hell that may await us in the future if we're not good little boys and girls. It's not that. We're not being saved from anything. The Course, incidentally, refers to hell not as a place, not as a dungeon or a journey across the river Styx to the underworld or anything like that. It's not like that. In the Course, separation, this illusion, the only illusion, the only problem that there is hell. Oneness with God, knowing God, is heaven. So it greatly simplifies things. So salvation doesn't involve going through a particular ceremony or reciting a particular liturgy or prayer or set of words, and then going off for the next 40 to 50 years or however much time remains to us here on Spinning Ball of Rock, which we don't know, incidentally. It's not about going off and doing whatever you want. And then when this communication mechanism craps out and falls into a heap on the floor, lifeless and perfectly useless, with nothing precious about it, then suddenly being miraculously saved from hell. There is only perfect oneness. We're not being saved from anything, but for something. We're simply awakening to the truth of who and what we are. And you know what that is. So, along the way, questions arise, don't they? I mean, this is some very deep stuff. Let me tell you something. You deserve nothing less than being pointed to truth without any messing around. We've all messed around way too much, haven't we? It's why you're here. You deserve nothing less than this course, than this message. There is only perfect oneness. This, by the way, means there is no sin. God's Son is totally and completely guiltless. You've never left your source. Capital S. The more you hear these ideas, the more you will notice that, well, you're different than you used to be. Yeah. Things may appear to change for you. We're invited to practice. That's where we learn. It is through our practical application of these ideas that we actually teach ourselves. Because remember, our inner teacher is part of our own mind. So we put our trust and our faith and confidence in him, the Holy Spirit, and let him lead us. It's our own mind that's leading us. So we put the teachings into practice, and our experience shows us that these ideas are true. Forgive, forgive, forgive. Your experience will show you that these ideas are true. And if it doesn't happen for you on the first try, it takes lots of tries. Keep going. See how you feel and really do it, though. That's the thing. We're all adults here. So you deserve nothing less than a presentation of this course which points to truth. It's all about our taking adult responsibility. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. And putting these teachings into practice. It's our experience that then shows us that they're true. It proves it to us. So we prove it to ourselves. Want proof? Excellent. Yes, demand proof. But not of me, not of your brother, of you. Prove it to yourself. So if you're sticking around, thank you for tuning in here. Comments and questions are most welcome. We've had a number of excellent questions here very recently on this feed, and we're going through the text of A Course in Miracles, but I will say that if there is a specific topic that you're wrestling with and that you would like to see me address here on this series of videos, please let me know that. And I'm happy to pause because the text isn't going anywhere. I mean, we're literally going through it one paragraph at a time today. So there's lots more to come. We're on chapter 11. There are 31 chapters. And when those videos are complete, you can bet there are going to be more videos because our practice is a constant. That's how we learn. So if you have questions and comments, please feel welcome to leave them. And subscribe if you have not. Please do that if you haven't and you'd like to join us. The subscription arrow is right here in the corner of your screen. And when you hover or click that, you will be prompted to join us. And please do that. We'd love to have you join us. It's a growing international community, and several videos appear on a weekly basis. All right, so thank you again for tuning in. I will talk to you all very soon.